Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Stormwatch, live from the MPTV studios in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am your host, adult human male Tanner Burke, and the Bills won yesterday, which makes me happier than a fish in a fishbowl. We got a lot of great stuff for you today. Let's take a look. First, we swing by the Oak Creek MATC campus for a lesson in criminal justice and see how some MATC students are giving back to a community still suffering from a natural disaster down south. Stormwatch attempts to reenact a somewhat historical event over at the Oak Creek campus of MATC, and my friend David and I attempt to eat burritos, and I take my shirt off. All this and much more on Stormwatch.
It's Stormwatch with Tanner Burke.
I don't know about you, but that song always gets me going. A highly active group at the Oak Creek MATC campus are the students of the Criminal Justice Program. Stormwatch producer Ty Bergeron caught up with Ernesto Gonzalez the day after he returned from New Orleans, where he and his fellow South Campus students lent a helping hand to the continuing rebuilding efforts still lingering from Hurricane Katrina. But first, student producer Steve Luttrell checks out how those that will someday protect and serve prepare for their careers in law enforcement. Let's take a look.
Criminal Justice Program at MATC is a 69 credited program that teaches and prepares students for a career in any form of law enforcement, from security to police officer to federal government, federal service. And it encompasses all their academic studies and also incorporates, at this present time, the certification track for law enforcement training.
Potential careers for graduates: sheriff's deputy, police officer, dispatcher, continuing on in your education, looking at federal law enforcement capabilities, security officer, and careers pretty much associated with physical security and law enforcement.
Police officers and any of those going into law enforcement have to be able to communicate very effectively. So therefore, we want to make sure that they, number one, can communicate. Academically, students have to be better than average academically in English and math. Report writing and other types of written skills are incredibly important. Police officers do two things. We communicate, talk to people, and we write reports. A lot of folks think this is more like TV, where there's just a lot of excitement and running and gunning and all these things you see on TV every week. Well, the truth is it's mostly communication skills and writing reports. Those are the skills that are required every day they're out there. We work on everything. As I tell our students, we're going to teach you how to walk, we're going to teach you how to talk, we're going to teach you how to drive a car, we're going to teach you how to shoot a gun, we're going to teach you all those sexy things, I call them, that you see on TV. But we're primarily going to be working on the fundamental skills. We have several classes on ethics. Ethics in law enforcement is a big class in which we just talk about and discuss and try to improve the decision making. In law enforcement, we're not judged so much on outcome. We are always judged on how we make and come to our decisions. So ethics and decision making are skills that we really, really emphasize. And then again, the basics of report writing. We spend a lot of time on that. And then we get into later in the semesters, we get into the sexy stuff, I call them, the firearms and the emergency vehicle operation, the defense and arrest tactics, which the students look forward to as they get near the end of their degree.
The shoot house is a training range that we use here. It's a live fire training range. It's multi-purpose for various scenarios that you might be faced with in law enforcement. It's approximately a 1,500 square foot training range that can be set up in different configurations. You can do live fire in there, as I stated, which is very helpful and beneficial for not only students but law enforcement officers who come here for training. Given all the active shooter scenarios that play out day to day, unfortunately it's become common fare for us. So it's a very good asset to have here at the school for not only students but also law enforcement community.
MATC's Oak Creek campus is extremely active in the community through student government as well as the Criminal Justice Student Organization.
The biggest as well as most active clubs on the South Campus. The student government actually operates, advocates, operates, as well as helps out in the community at the local, state, as well as national level, while the Criminal Justice Organization tends to concentrate more on the local aspect. With student government, we've done a lot of charity walks, one most recently being the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. We do a cohesive activity between student government as well as CJSO, which is Breakfast with Santa. And with help from West Campus, we bring in a family-oriented event. And what it is we provide photos with Santa, cookie decorating opportunities with children, things like that. Another one of the projects that we had the opportunity to do was we participated in a community event down in Washington, D.C., where Governor Scott Walker sat behind me on the plane. We actually took a photo with him as well as we were getting off the plane. He's actually a pretty nice guy. While we were in D.C., we had the opportunity of helping out one of the largest homeless shelters in the nation. We, over months before we took this trip, we had been collecting various toiletries, hygiene products, and undergarments that would be other than inaccessible to those that are less fortunate. Then after we dropped off these things in the facility, we helped clean up some of the various areas around the facility. And then most recently, we also just did a big project down in New Orleans. We usually get together on a conference at least twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring through student government. And what we always do is make sure that we do a service learning project of some sort. In some way, shape, or form, we're going to help out someone in the community. And we chose the St. Bernard Project. St. Bernard Project actually is one of the organizations that's down in New Orleans that's helping those that were affected by Hurricane Katrina. My group that specifically that I was in, we were actually painting a home that was affected by Katrina. And we were going to be drywalling, but they were still doing the framework on the inner workings of the home. So we stayed dominantly a good portion out the side. We painted the house serious gray. Good times.
Perhaps you've got an idea or event in the community that you'd like South Campus Student Government or CJSO to consider.
Our organizations are always open to new ideas, especially for events or any type of community-related opportunities. The best way to get in contact with us would be to go to the meetings. The meetings are usually held at South Campus on Tuesdays in A130, and they're usually held from noon until 1 p.m. And whether it be the executive board there or the entire group, I say it's always a good thing for people to go and check it out.
Ernesto happened to tell Ty that all of the volunteering in the community between student government and the Criminal Justice Club is a challenge to his schedule, but also extremely rewarding. As you probably noticed, those two stories focus on the good work students and faculty are doing on the South Campus, and we have the pleasure of being able to talk today with the man that is making it all happen. Vice President of MATC's Oak Creek campus, Mr. Mark Felsheim. Mr. Felsheim, thank you so much for joining me today on Stormwatch.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Now, you're quite new to the MATC community.
Correct.
You've only been around for a few weeks. How are you settling in? Are you enjoying it?
It's wonderful. I love it. It's just it feels like coming home. I'm originally from Madison, and so I have family in Madison and family in the area. We used to come to Milwaukee all the time for activities. So
you're enjoying the big family that we have here at MATC. That's
absolutely.
Good.
Yep.
Good. And you've been an educator for over 25 years. Is that something you've always known you've wanted to do, or is that something that you just kind of fell into?
No, not really. Well, to tell you the truth, after high school, I worked in a fast food joint. I did that for about a year, flipping hamburgers. So that probably sounds familiar to some of the other students out there. Yeah, absolutely, like every other college student. I literally just stumbled through the doors of MATC Madison, not knowing what I wanted to. I thought I wanted to be a journalist. Okay. So and the nice thing about the technical colleges, like the two MATCs, is you can actually try things. And I was on the paper, I did writing and all that, and decided I really didn't enjoy that as much as I thought. So then I switched and eventually ended up with my love, which is teaching.
Good. Well, we're glad you figured that out. We're glad to have you here as a part of our family at MATC. It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Now, with your experience in education, what do you plan to bring to our family at MATC? Anything for our already stellar programs over at the Oak Creek campus? Or?
You know, I have a passion for student success. I mean, when I came to the other MATC, it literally changed my life. I mean, would not be who I am today without that experience. I have 5 brothers and sisters who all started college and all dropped out.
Oh, wow.
Now, some went back in their 40s to get their degree, but I was the only one that once I started went all the way through, and it's definitely because I went to MATC. And so I'm passionate about that. And some of the things that I learned along the way is how to be a student, which is not intuitive. So I'm trying to make sure that one of the things I want to do is to try to make sure we let students know what it takes to be successful and that we're there for them and we provide the support. So student success is my big focus. I'm not the kind of person that likes to come in and make dramatic changes. I really like to build on the strengths of an institution and then help it grow. And one of the things that's wonderful about MATC in general and the Oak Creek campus in particular is the fact that people there, their hearts are in the right place. They really want students to be successful.
Absolutely.
And that's wonderful, you know.
And
so,
that's a big part of being at MATC in general. A lot of people kind of brush MATC under the rug, but I think there's a lot that goes unheard over here at MATC, and for those of us that know, we're proud to be a part of it. But we discuss on our show every week MATC working with the community and the student groups that reach out for their communities and communities around the country, even like New Orleans. Are you impressed with the drive that students have here at MATC?
Very much so. And I've met the students, many of the students that were in your videos, and they are really great people. And interesting stories, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, veterans and others that are doing career changes or that started another college. Very passionate. One of the things I did just recently is I had an open forum with the students because I wanted to get a sense of what's on their minds and where we want to go, and that was a great exchange. They had some really good suggestions and some really good thoughts on what we do. And I actually started with, I want to hear first what we do well, so we don't stop doing that. Then where can we get better, you know? And so they had some great things to say about the school and the college, and some good suggestions on how we can do things a little bit better.
Excellent. And we have just time for one more quick question.
Okay.
I always ask everyone that comes on, what's the future look like for you and the Oak Creek campus over at MATC? You got anything exciting coming about? Anything?
Well, I think one of the things that I want to focus on is making sure that we maintain and grow our community connections, which are very good right now. I mean, Oak Creek, the campus is an integral part of the community, but I want to make sure we do even more. For example, one of the big events we're planning is next year around September 11th, a special focus on the protective services, police, fire, EMS, and we're actually going to host we're working on it, but I think it looks like it's a go. We're going to be hosting it's called Firefighters Challenge. It's kind of like the Olympics for firefighters. Very exciting. We should have people from all over the country coming to compete, and so it's things like that we're looking to do.
Cool. That should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope everyone watching does the same. That'll be really great. And I really feel like we got a great insight into our friends over at the Oak Creek campus. I want to thank my guest, Mr. Mark Felsheim, I apologize about that, for being with us here on Stormwatch again today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you again very much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Coming up, I consider myself to be a bit of a foodie, and I enjoy a challenge. So when the opportunity arose to combine the two, of course, there was no way I was going to turn it down. Let's see what happens when 2 college students eat entirely too much burrito. But first, Stormwatch producer Will Stone is a bit of a history nut, and he found some old footage in a locker at the Oak Creek MATC campus, shot by some students in the 1930s, believe it or not. I'm here at Pacific Wraps here at UWM on the second floor of the Union over here, where you can pretty much find anything to eat. I'm talking burgers, you got your tacos, your subs, you got Chinese, ice cream even, and there's a bar and a coffee shop downstairs as well. But today we're not here for any of that. Today we are here for the burritos. And when I'm talking burritos, I'm talking burritos. We caught up with my friend Soon Vu here at Pacific Wraps, who's also a fellow classmate at MATC in the TV program, and he's also an employee here at Pacific Wraps. Soon, why are we here today?
To see how fast you can eat 2 burritos.
Has a challenge like this ever been attempted before?
Nope. I just thought of this yesterday, so.
You thought of this yesterday? Any particular reason, or are you just here to watch David and I die in agonizing pain?
Pretty much, just to watch for fun, see who would finish.
You're a terrible person, but I'm excited about this challenge. I'm gonna take David out, I'm gonna knock him out. Let's do this. I've chosen 2 very deadly burritos today. I've chosen the special, the 3rd degree burn, which has beef, spicy rice, bacon, cheddar, jalapenos, buffalo sauce, sriracha, chipotle sauce, and tops it off with a little red pepper. It sounds fantastic. And also, for my second burrito, I will be doing, since I am from Buffalo, of course I am biased and I picked the buffalo wing wrap, so I'm also very excited about that. 2 burritos, 1 buffalo wing wrap, 1 3rd degree burn, 1 stretcher for when I pass out and need an ambulance to the hospital. Can you have that ready on standby? Fantastic, excellent. This is it, huh? This might be the end of me. This one right here. My God, you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm sitting next to my friend and fellow classmate, David Kay, and we have both chosen our own weapons of choice, our own weapons of mass destruction. All right, so here I have the 3rd degree burn, which has your jalapenos, your sriracha, your spicy everything, all goodness. And then I also have my favorite, the buffalo wing wrap. So these will be my weapons of choice. David?
Today I have the General Tso, which is buffalo chicken General Tso sauce. I have substituted a little pineapple to help in case it's a little burnt. And of course the Monterey, which is chicken, bacon, ranch, and all sorts of love.
Yummy.
All right, guys. So here's the rules. You each have 222 seconds to finish those 2 burritos. Whoever finishes first wins. All right. Are you guys ready?
I don't want to get my shirt dirty. Oh. What's up back there? All right. Now we're ready.
All right.
David, I wore your shirt today. I'm sorry. Yes. Nope. Let's start with this bad boy right here. Oh, this is the best thing I've ever tasted. I can't wait to come back tonight and do it again. This is David and Tanner here at Pacific Wraps. Now back to Tanner in the studio. Thanks, Tanner. If you're wondering, no, I have still not had another meal since that last burrito. And no, I do not ever want to eat a burrito ever again. Now let's take a quick look at what's going on this week at MATC. On Monday, the 18th at 3:30 p.m., the Finance Personnel Operations Committee will be meeting at the downtown campus in room M210. On Tuesday, November 19th, between 10:30 a.m. and 1 p.m., Concordia University will be holding a transfer visit at the Mequon campus in the Cyber Cafe. That same day, the Education Services and Institutional Relations Committee will be meeting in the downtown campus in room M210. Also, there will be an American Indian dance demo located in the cafeteria of the West Dallas campus. On Wednesday, November 20th from 6 till 8 p.m. in the lecture hall of the Oak Creek campus, the U.S. Department of Justice will present the Internet, the good, the bad, and the ugly, protecting your family in the cyber age, a presentation on Internet safety. And lastly, this Saturday and Sunday, it's the MPTV Holiday Art and Gift Fair located at 12560 West Townsend Street in Brookfield. If the address sounds familiar, this is also the MPTV auction site. The fair starts at 10 a.m. and ends at 5 p.m. Check it out. Should be some fantastic deals. And finally, today, it's getting to be that time of year again, where everything stops tasting like pumpkin, and, well, if you're like my family, everything gets a little eggnoggy, if you know what I mean. Stormwatch producer Emma Cortez shows us an alternative social lubricant for the holiday season. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, it's the holidays and there's no better gift for a gracious host than the gift of booze. In America, we have eggnog as a traditional holiday drink, but in Puerto Rico, we put our own twists on it. The drink is called coquito. For your coquito, you're going to need a can of sweetened condensed milk, some coconut cream, cinnamon sticks, vanilla extract, 1 egg, and clear rum. I use Don Q. And then to put your coquito in, if you're going to separate it for multiple people, I suggest using a mason jar, or you can use an empty wine jar. First, you're going to boil cinnamon sticks to bring out the flavor. Typically, I use 3 to 4 cinnamon sticks and boil them for 5 minutes. Next, you're going to add half a can of sweetened condensed milk to your blender. Next, you're going to add the coconut cream to the blender. Now add 1 egg yolk. I've already separated the egg. Typically for this step, you can use as much alcohol as you would like. I like to use this can, probably about 2 cups worth of alcohol, or almost half a bottle. But you can use any amount that you want. Maybe a little bit more. After you boil your cinnamon sticks for 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to see a caramel color in the water. That's how you know it's done. You're going to want to get a shot glass of the cinnamon mixture. Go ahead and put the lid on and blend away. When your mixture is complete, the best way to figure out if it turned out is just to try it. That'll put hair on your chest. Since we're making this as a gift, I've already taken this ribbon and wrapped it around the lid of the jar. And then I'm just going to take my eggnog off of the blender and I'm going to fill my jars. If you have multiple jars, you can just fill them 1/3 full or whatever you want to do, but obviously I'm going to fill the jar completely. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of room because I'm going to take some ground cinnamon. I'm going to sprinkle it on the top like a garnish. And then you can go ahead, put your top on your jar. You're all set. So here's your completed project. Please be sure that you keep it in the refrigerator because the longer it sits, the thicker it gets and the better it tastes. Bye, happy Thanksgiving.
So you know, that looks like it'll warm the belly and put hair on your chest. I hope everyone was taking notes on that one. But as always, we at Stormwatch want to remind you to please enjoy responsibly. Stay safe out there, kids. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. For all of us here at Stormwatch, I'm Tanner Burke, and remember, Po Buddy's nerfect. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. We'll see you next week.